Drop everything and clear those ears. It's time for the Dave and Dave Show.
Here we are, Dave and Dave Show.
Dave, the rain from the north. Dave, you're looking nice and toasty.
It is chilly out here, and that is actually going to have an impact on one of my selections later on in the show.
All right, but let's have a quick toast.
Going to keep you waiting on that one.
Where's your beer there, Dave?
You going to wear a bikini tomorrow? All right, Alex is wearing a bikini to work.
And Michelle, where's my Michelle?
Oh, I don't know. She might be
Belle.
sometime, but right now.
All right, Daver. First, congratulations. Nice. Plus 400 on the draw, Southampton versus Brighton. Good eye there, y'all boiler.
Thinking about
Off the right flat.
We're thinking about sticking to European football. It's a hell of a lot more profitable than the American version, or it's now whatever this sport is that we play in this country with the funny shaped ball. I like the round ball's been treating me a lot better.
Dave, your dominance in Premier League is there. It's noted. But you also do well in the Serie A, which is the Italian league, and also the Spanish league. And you're recently a poquito caliente in the Copa del Rey. You noticed that
the dogs are barking. The little guy.
Yeah.
I guess the big teams don't play anybody and they don't give a shit about their cup. I don't know why, but the little guys are really giving the big guys a tough time in the Copa del Rey. Yeah.
The Copa del Rey is Central and South America, correct?
No. Copa del Rey is Spain. It's Spain's version of like the FA Cup in England.
Oh, okay.
The Deutschland football.
Okay.
Pokal. Pokal means cup in German, and that's a tournament that was also going on this week. DFB is that FA Cup in England. I don't know. It's called Coppa Italiano in Italy. And that's happening right now too. There's been a couple of those games this week, so this must be the time where they do that crap. At least in those countries,
and it means
right
everything now to those smaller teams. To not go off or play with one of the big.
Also, the fans, they get to play They get to play in those games. Oh my God. It's like, they get to see Barcelona play their little guy team. And who knows, maybe they pull an upset. And right now, the last few days, a lot of these little teams in the Copa del Rey in Spain have been either playing them super tough or tying. And I think a couple of them actually won. So, so there's that. Anyway, it's been fun.
Well, we could use a little on Saturday, and some of our New York teams, we could use a little of that. Okay, what's your Saturday pick coming up?
My Saturday
pick, but the green and blue.
Just a line that makes no sense at all in the Premier League. Nottingham Charity. I just Nottingham Forest is at least the equal to and probably
to the Premier League. Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing on the road.
Okay.
And that has to be the reason for this line. I probably needed to do a little bit more historical research on this. I'm sure, probably Nottingham Forest has never beaten Man U.
I was going to say, how long have they been in the Premier League?
That's fine. But these teams have never been separated they've never even been equal in talent. Never mind where, to me, I think Nottingham Forest has a better talent than Manchester. Be that as it may, obviously history does have a lot to do, and especially in this sport, it's quite significant. Trends keep happening.
Yeah.
So there's a real reversal in the skill levels on both teams, and I think that's what's happening here. The line is generous beyond belief. I mean, I'd be tempted to take Nottingham Forest to win the game straight up, but instead I'm gonna wimp out a little bit and go with the draw. Plus 310 on the draw. Nottingham Forest against Manchester United Saturday in the Premier League. Okay.
I'm offering you a draw. You can't see it, but I'm offering you a draw. The role reversal is incredible in Nottingham Forest and Manchester United. They've never been in the same conversation 5-10 years ago. But how sad the Man U, well, we won't call it a program, but we'll call it the whole mystique of Manchester United.
All a program.
Well,
it's an organization, as they say.
Yeah. It's a $40 But you made a mention that they were like the Yankees of the Premier League, right?
Oh, they were for decades. Yes.
Yeah.
And the most valuable franchise in sports, even more valuable than the Cowboys and the Yankees a little while ago.
Yes, they were.
That's the case. I think the Cowboys are the most valuable franchise, but still, these Premier League teams are worth a few bucks.
And all owned by casino and sportsbook owners. And let's jump right into the NCAA football.
All right. Who's going first? You got anything on Friday?
My bro, I do.
You too. I know you have some.
You know I do. That was a loaded question. I'm going with the semi-obvious to open up. Home team. I'm going with Boise State. You know, it's probably the public's pick.
It is.
Yeah, I know everybody's going for it. They've already beaten this team in Vegas. I think they're on a roll. They got something to prove. This is the Mountain West standings, and in or out, you know. Boise State needs this to get into the Final 12. Great running back. Jesus Christ. He's broken all kinds of individual game records, at least for Boise State. I'm going with the Broncos. I'm laying 4 at home for the Mountain West championship against UNLV.
All right. I didn't take Vegas. I would not say that.
Don't concur.
It's probably not a pizza bet, and we're probably going to have some pizza bets because it's such a limited schedule for college. Although all the games are great, it's going to be fun. Friday night, 3 games, and then you got whatever 8 games or so on Saturday. It's going to be fun. Got these conference championship games, terrific matchups, and I'm gonna bet a half a pizza on that one with you. With the
all right,
I'll take Vegas.
Accepted. The wager accepted.
The gauntlet. You're good to go.
You like anybody else on Friday night?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
do.
And a lot of this has to do with the aforementioned weather on the East Coast. It is cold and it's windy. It's crappy out. And I think that plays right into the hands of Army with their ground, their blitzkrieg, their ground game against Tulane. Obviously last week we had Memphis against Tulane, although we like Tulane all year long. And they do have a good team. They have had a great season, but this is a nasty situation. They're playing at West Point in the cold and the wind, and Army, I think, is just going to run the ball down their throat, and they're getting 5 points. So I'll take Army against Tulane.
Yeah, the Green Wave got exposed last week to Memphis, which turned out to have a really good, season this year. Memphis went 6-2, but they handled Tulane, and I actually had Tulane, and I learned a lot about that team last week. But more than Army, talking about Army, they played a really tough University of Texas San Antonio team last week who, and they handled it 29-24. That's a tough little division, the American Conference. And Notre Dame was just too much for them. So I think you got a nice pick there. It's not one of mine, but no, it's a nice pick. What I'm going to do is stay a little bit closer to home. I know you're going to be. What's the weather going to be like there this weekend or tomorrow?
Cold and windy. That's why I'm going with Army. I mean,
all right. I
feel like at a dome game or something. I don't know. I might be leaning towards Tulane just because people in this country like to bet on Army. They like to bet on Navy. They like to bet on Notre Dame. They like to bet on the recognizable teams, the programs that they're familiar with. But this is a home field advantage. It's a weather advantage.
Yeah, I don't understand it. And it favors the run team for sure. Yeah. Well, I'm sticking a little closer to home with my second pick. I'm going to take the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. They're hosting Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. I know you were leaning toward the Hilltoppers. We already talked about this. Could be another pizza. But we've already taken this team. We didn't play our best last week. We've already beaten this team. They're playing right now for the...
Why are they only 2 at home? Or 4.5? 4.5. Sorry, 4.5. They didn't beat them at their place. Now they come home. They're only 4.5.
It's because they played poorly. They played really well, and they only beat them by 2. This is an offensive football team. They put up points. That's all I can guess, and that's my pick, the Gamecocks.
All right, half a piece.
You obviously do not concur.
No. Half a piece. I'll go with the Hilltoppers in that one. Just, wondering about that line and wondering, teams when they play back-to-back like that, who's going to make the adjustment? The team that won or the team that lost? The team that lost. So
we'll see.
My Hilltoppers.
We shall see.
All right, we're on to Saturday. Early game on Saturday. Conference championship. Your favorite conference in the country is the MAC. And we're pretty sure we might be going eyeball to eyeball on this one. A full pizza on the line on this one. Those others were just halves because I didn't actually have either one of the other sides as a pick. But in this game, I am taking the Ohio Bobcats +2 against your Miami of Ohio Red Hawks.
And I see with that same philosophy behind a team already beaten, who's going to adjust? Yeah, I had Bowling Green last week, and I had a chance to watch the Red Hawks dismantle Bowling Green on the road. I think they just look really good, really strong. But having said that, I've done really well on Ohio as well, both locked in at 7-1. MAC Conference Championship on the line. Should be a great game. I'm happy to go head-to-head for the pizza, and I'll be rooting for my Red Hawks by a field goal. Those points could be valuable.
All right, so now that's your pick, so I guess it's my turn again.
Yes, you are correct.
3 out of your 4 college picks are in. Okay. I am turning to, I guess, what people are concerned. Well, no. I mean, when you got number 1 against number 3, I mean, I guess the night game must be the big game. But the afternoon game
must be.
So you will care about.
I like this game better.
The SEC games, Georgia and Texas. It's talked about the fact that a lot of times when teams play twice in one season, the team that did not do so well the first time around has a little bit of advantage, and they often turn the table on the other team. That used to happen in the NFL all the time.
Yeah,
division rivalries where whoever covered the first game, go with the other guys on the other game. You'll probably do pretty well. You could actually show a profit on that in the NFL for years and years. Now, who the hell knows? None of the old systems work in NFL. We're looking at games out there. And I'm sticking with the same guys that we had just, I guess it was a little while ago. But it seems like yesterday when Georgia played Texas and the whole world was on Texas and just, gushing over how wonderful they were. And Georgia went out and really beat them down, kicked their ass in that game. I think that final score is a little deceptive in that game, but Georgia actually really took care of them a little bit better than the final score indicated. They're getting points in what is practically a home game. They're playing in Atlanta. Yes, Texas will have a shitload of fans there, and they get a lot of seats allocated to them as one of the teams in the game. And they'll be filled with Texas people, but those Georgia people will outnumber. And then the other people who come in and fill up the extra seats. Hopefully it's going to be Georgia people and not Texas people. But anyway, Georgia's got the better talent overall. Texas had a great season, and who knows how far they could go. I mean, I don't see any dominant team in this tournament coming up. So really, either one of these teams gets out of this game, they could do some damage in this tournament. Because I'm not impressed with anybody, including a team that's involved in my next pick. But right now, we're concentrating on this game. And I'm looking at Georgia +3 against Texas. Same thing they did the first time around.
You eliminate those short passes.
College coach.
Yeah.
For Georgia. Against.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
God, when I watch Texas games, he just gives me the impression that he thinks he's reinventing the sport, that he's reinventing the decision-making process and everything, and going a little bit more with the analytic bullshit than I would like to see with my teams at least. So I'll go with the Bulldog.
And you'll go with the Bulldog coach. Yeah, we're just talking about Kirby Smart. I think he does a lot better, around bowl time, around championship time. He gets his team, ready. We won't talk about that program, which is already pretty rock solid. But I agree with you here. And
how do you feel about that program?
Yeah, I like it.
Is that a program you can get behind?
Texas, they struggled against Vandy. They struggled against Arkansas. Sure. I know they didn't cover because I had them. And last week, was that such a, against A&M, was that such a big victory by 10 points? Yeah, I think Georgia, as much as, you're crossing your fingers with Beck, if he has a decent game, they should win defensively. But it's going to be a great game to watch, I'm probably with you on Georgia. We're not going any pizzas on that one. I'm going to wrap mine up with Clemson. I like the Clemson Tigers. We're all over SMU this year. I think we saw them as a good team earlier than most and benefited from it. We've got some good lines, and they've been on a roll and should be a great team. But Clemson couldn't stop that South Carolina quarterback last week. They had him beyond the line of scrimmage 5-6 times, and he scored touchdowns on runs 2 of those times. But I think Clemson is going to be ready. Like I said, coaching Dabo Sweeney, Kirby, Mr. Smart there in Georgia is going to have their team ready. And we're getting points. I think Smoo is now ESPN's darling. And tough team, but I like Clemson getting the points. 2.5.
Right. I concur.
What? Whoa, later.
It wouldn't be a game that I would put money out just because it looks too evenly matched to me. All right, sounds good. We've covered European football. We've covered college football. Oh, I got one more game.
Yes, you do, Grasshopper.
Big game. I'm going Penn State.
What a surprise!
Live to regret it. Might live to regret it. And the reason why I'm a little hesitant to not plunge on this game. You think they have a lot of things in their favor, but
stay with me, Dave.
That they do not. What do you do?
In my Charger. Penn State, rock and rolling.
Penn State has problems with Ohio State and Michigan, the 2 top dogs in the Big Ten. I mean, Penn State, I think their winning percentage is like the best in college football the last 6 years or whatever it might be, but they just cannot beat those 2 teams, and it's ruined their season, whether they're playing one of them or both of them. They haven't been the team that anybody's looking at for the national championship because they can't beat the top dog. This year in the Big Ten, the top dog is, unfortunately for Penn State, Oregon. Okay, so here we go. They already had their chance against Ohio State. They blew that game. After jumping out on top and really looking, I thought maybe they'd just be able to run away and hide from Ohio State. Did the same goddamn thing they do every time they play a big game. Just let the other team stick around and then figure out a way to lose at the end. Hope they don't do that today. This week, if they do, I hope they only lose by 3 or less because they're getting 3.5 points. It's a big trip for Oregon, all the way to Indianapolis, where they're playing in the Colt Stadium, the Big Ten championship game. Penn State, they're going to have a shitload of people there. They always do. Oregon will travel. They got all the Nike money behind the rich fucks who come from Oregon to watch them when they play on the road now. But still, I think it's going to be predominantly a Penn State crowd. I think you might get some neutral people in there who are going to root for the underdog. I just think they're a very well-balanced team. They're a perfect team to beat a team like Oregon. They can throw the ball. They can run the ball, and they can play good defense. I think, what else do you want? Special teams could be the difference in the game. Penn States are a little shaky. But I think they're going to do it. I really do. Because it's not Ohio State. because it's not Michigan, because it's Oregon, and they're not really a Big Ten team yet. I think Penn State's going to be able to bump them off. That's my last pick in college.
It's a good point. Oregon really struggled against Wisconsin, a real Big Ten team, and they struggled last week. You can't tell me that this is a real champion. Do they have to win?
No, Oregon won that game. I really think at the beginning of the year, Boise had them, so they should have won that game.
Yes.
Oregon's undefeated. They're the only undefeated team in big-time college football. They deserve to be number one, but I think they're beatable. I think that's one reason why you're only seeing, that small number on the game, but hopefully just enough points for Penn State to either play a close game and cover or just win outright.
All right, Dave Areno of the North, having a nice beer. That wraps up the NCAA.
An unofficial sponsor. Still trying to get them.
You got all the vitamins in there, that's for sure.
Talked to another sponsor today. I haven't gotten an answer back, but we're trying. Right here, this is Conor McGregor's Irish Stout.
I see that. How's it taste?
We'll get him. I mean, I could care less about UFC bullshit, but anyway. I actually prefer it to Guinness just by a hair. I think it's a little bit better. I really did. There are qualities to it, a little drier. They promote it saying it's creamier. It's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Guinness is
there's nothing creamier than that.
What I like about Forged is that a little drier, a little bit more like an ale, and not so much a creamy stout. But
it's okay. All right.
Okay.
We got our stout picks as well.
I'll drink it, but anytime. If you can get a cane head high from the Jersey Shore, go with that as your option. All right. Pro football. Who goes first?
Dave, you like anything on Thursday in this crazy?
I think we should talk about the game. Must be something going on. Was only given a field goal.
Yeah, I can't quite figure it out myself.
With a team that I think is very beatable. I mean, you were talking to me earlier about the fact that a lot of injury stuff. I guess so.
I guess.
I mean, they must be devastating because even them at home, they've had a couple of shaky games. They had a shaky first half against Houston, but they came back and won. They had a shaky second half last week, but they held on.
They held on.
Here, I mean, if they win this game, they probably cover, right? You think Detroit's going to win or not? I mean, I think they're going to win. I don't think Green Bay's very good.
It looks too obvious, and I haven't really been overly impressed by the Packers this year, even at 9-3.
No. I know. They're winning games. But
not covering, that's for sure. All right, well, what's your first pick, Daber, if we're not on Thursday, and neither of us are?
Play this game because it's totally confusing. My first game, I decided if you can't beat them, join them. So I've got a couple of picks that I think are just kind of obvious. The first one is Tampa Bay, -6.5 against the Raiders. I think the Raiders are shit. Now, one thing I do want to mention, though, is this is a little that AFC's kind of been getting the better of the NFC so far in these interconference games. The AFC just across the board seems to be stronger teams. So, yeah, it's kind of a hefty number. Yeah, it's a team that was barely, they're a 500 team pretty much so far. I just think Tampa Bay's getting it together, and the Raiders are not. They got a host of problems. I mean, this Tampa Bay offense, you got two good running backs, they got good receivers, they got Baker Mayfield's playing pretty well. I know you're a fan. I'm not, but he's playing pretty well. I see them scoring a shitload of points in this game. I'm taking Tampa Bay -6.5 against the Raiders.
The Raiders?
I'll take them as favorites. Could be the kiss of death. I hope not.
Yeah. What was the trend you were telling me about, talking about earlier today?
Road favorites are kicking butt.
Road favorites.
Historically, for decades, that was the bet to go against.
Right. Home dog.
You want to make one, if you can keep yourself to betting one circumstance in pro football in the 70s, the 80s, maybe a little bit into the 90s, it was the home team underdog. Now they're getting their ass kicked.
Yeah, it was an incredible season for that.
Are the best situational bet this season. They're way over 500. They're showing not just a profit, they're showing a decent profit. A road favorite. So home team underdogs are right now for shit. And I actually don't think I took any this week because I'm just so sick of them losing. And I didn't take home team dogs.
It's not my betting that bothers anybody. It's my losing. Yeah. Brother, I'm going for a little Cinderella story here. Kirk Cousins coming back home is going to, show up. These fraud Vikings who just seem to get enough done to get victories, 10 victories, 10-2. Jesus. I'm looking at the Falcons. I think Cousins has got a lot to play for, not only his 4 interception performance, bounced back for that last week, but he's played well in Minnesota, and I expect him to do the same. Take the 5.5. You might be able to get 6 Falcons plus the points.
I respect the pick because last week we both took the Chargers against the Falcons. And then if you can take a team the very next week that you went against, that to me, that shows character. Shows character in a sports game.
Thank you, Dave.
And you see that
there's something behind that. A good programmer.
Yeah, there is.
Is Michelle giving you a little nudge? I love it.
Yeah. No, unfortunately not. I wish. Well, nudge goes a long way.
And a note to the editor, never cut out Michelle.
Well, I'm not going forward. But no, you know what? The more I thought about it last week, the more I appreciated.
Concur.
The editing. Yeah, the editing job was crucial.
All right, David, let's move along and give us that Swami second pick.
Swami's second pick is now I'm going back to my usual tricks. Taking the Carolina Panthers plus 12.5 against the ferocious Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles would just kick ass. They kicked ass for me last week.
Yes, I saw that.
I had them against the Ravens. Yeah, they played a lot better this year than I did. Here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that game being a factor, that they're still sort of congratulating themselves over the great win against the Ravens. Birds only, 90 miles apart, playing that tough game last week. Carolina's just playing a lot better the last few weeks. Way better. I mean, everybody saw them take the Chiefs down to the wire. They were home in that game, but anyway, they did that. They've been looking tough. They've decided to go with Bryce Young. The hell with it. Let's just go with this kid, and hopefully, we can get him to develop. He's going to make mistakes, but then again, he could be a good talent, and the team will be better for it. But they're also playing way better on defense. They're running the ball a little bit, and I like Carolina to sort of catch Philly napping a little bit here. Maybe jump on them early, hang on for dear life, and cover the 12.5 points.
Yeah, Philly's still got to be riding high, that last victory, feeling good about themselves. And what you say about Carolina is true. They beat the lowly Saints, my lowly Giants, but they held tough against the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. Last week was just a meltdown, letting them come back in the last minute. But, yeah, that's a solid pick, Dave. I like that. I'm going to follow that up, Laddie, with, I know, going against one of your trends here. The Browns already handled the Steelers fairly well in the last game. You're saying going to maybe against, going in the reverse. But I still like the Browns to cover. I'll take the 6.5. I know Jameis Winston is very unpredictable, but he threw for 4 and change offensively, another 2 on defense, throwing interceptions. But I like Winston to keep these guys honest. I also think the Steelers are, coming off a big win. There could be a little bit of a letdown. I know the trends go in the Steelers' favor here, but I'm liking the Browns, 6.5.
I respect that. Tough game. I'd say probably end up on the Browns. I'm just so disappointed that Monday night game that they had 9 different ways to cover. So
the 9 lines that we did.
That's why I was talking about you earlier, where you took Atlanta, where you were against them last week. I feel the same way. Or maybe it would just be maybe me being stubborn if I just stuck to my guns and said, yeah, Cleveland, they're playing a lot better. They are playing a lot better. But their what's up with their defense? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this great deal.
Look, it's like it was John Elway back there or something, which it wasn't. Oh, by the way, Bo Nix might end up being good. I knew Jack Elway. I knew John Elway. You're no John Elway. There was a little political reference there, but
almost played for the Yankees.
For the people who remember the vice presidential debate of 1988, I knew John Elway. You're no John Elway. Oh, yeah. Moving on to, what is this? My third pick. All right. I'm going back to the well of go with the obvious. Taking the Miami Dolphins, -5.5 against
Jets. That ain't so.
Jets. They're a mess. I mean, come on. Total control of it. Unfortunately, they were in total control of the game against Seattle way too early. And then Aaron Rodgers can't hit a broadside of a barn for an easy touchdown and put him up by 3 scores. That would have been it. And then on the very next play, throws a pick 6. So now the game goes from being you should have a 3-touchdown lead to it's a ball game again. And guess what? The team that will fight and play football for 60 minutes is the team that's going to win that game. If you let them back in, they're gonna bite you in the ass. Seattle did that for the Jets last week. Taking Miami, I still think they're a better team with Tua, ex-quarterback, and I think they toy with the Jets. To be perfectly honest, I think they blow them out. So that's my third pick. Miami -5.5 over the Jets.
Totally concur. Everything you said. Jets, pretty much have quit. And mentioning those plays about last week, yeah, he was so upset that he missed that Wilson wide open that he forced that next play in. We were talking about it, and it was a highlight reel. The highlight, and I think the Jets are done. And the the Dolphins at home are tough. That was a tough trip last week, but yeah, that's a solid.
They blew New England out 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
I think you're looking at the same thing here. I think the Jets and New England are probably on a pretty even level right now. So I see Miami kicking their ass.
All right, lad. Your third pick is noted. I'm heading to the West Coast where the Bears are visiting the 49ers. I don't expect the 49ers just to change colors all of a sudden. I think the Bears are going to stick around. I know they're 0-5 on the road, but they hang around. And they've actually been playing decent these last couple of weeks where the 49ers are not. Banged up or whatever you want to say. But I like the Bears. I'm taking 4 points to go into Old Candlestick and hang around. Bears plus
hanging around. For those of you who've seen the movie Rounders, you know what I'm talking about. Hanging around. Check, 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 check.
That would be a poke chain and a beauty. David, where are you going? Your fourth pick.
Well, you're going to go again because I am on the Chicago Bears. And that is as much an anti-San Francisco pick as it is a pro Bears pick. The Niners, whoa, they're a mess. They weren't even, they came out, they weren't really even competitive with Buffalo in that game. All right, weather notwithstanding, too fucking bad. The Bears have been weird. I mean, the Bears season could be a hell of a lot better. Boy, a lot of close games that they let.
No doubt. And complete turmoil.
I'll take them here.
But-
I think they're going. I think they would
Stick around.
Right up. Yeah, I think the Bears playing.
Yeah, the 49ers secondary is suspect also. You know, they got torched. And the Bears.
Yeah, I don't think they're learning how to play. I like the Bears quarterback. All right.
Dave, I'm with you on the Bucks, but I will throw my last pick out there, and then I'll give you the last two.
One more happen.
Chiefs. I like the Chiefs. I know they've been chipping away, not covering, letting lower teams in, but this is 11-1 Chiefs against the 8-4 Chargers. This is like a statement game, I think, for Kansas City. They let Carolina hang around. They almost lost last week. Chargers are a little dinged up, but more than that, I like the Chiefs to come out hard. Andy Reid, Sunday night. Going to be a strong showing for Kansas City to finally cover with some authority. I'm laying 3.5, but I think it's up to 4 right now.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I don't know what to do with that game, but
Well, I just think everybody's on the Chargers.
I like
that.
I
I hear everybody going, and it's still 4, which is respectable. But the Chiefs haven't really flexed.
A lot of people are going to be out just to cheat.
Yeah, they're the Chiefs. But I'd be interested, to catch the percentages as we get closer to Sunday on the wagering there. But I'm taking it as one of my picks.
Well, my last one is going back to the well of the obvious. Now, these are two teams that just played each other a couple weeks ago, and I know we both liked Arizona in the game against Seattle.
Yes.
That was an infuriating game.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it going. Now, I took a look at this. I'm starting to get the feeling that Arizona is like this Jekyll and Hyde team when they play at home and when they play on the road. So they get them back at home. Seattle coming back from getting their fucking miracle win against the Jets. Now, you're never going to go very far in this game comparing scores of games.
Correct.
But you do want to do it. It's an interesting one to take a look at because Arizona smoked the Jets. And Seattle, really, it should have been the opposite.
Yes.
By the Jets.
Talking about hanging around.
I see Arizona going home being a little miffed about their game last week where they had Minnesota on the road. They had the beat. They had that game. Let it get away. See Arizona coming home and beating the shit out of Seattle. That's my last pick.
Well, they're still, 6-6. I mean, it's crazy. In the NFL now, 6-6 is now the leader in the West. But, they're 4-2 at home. They're 6-6. So are the Rams. Niners are 5-7. Yeah, this is a huge game for them. And you're right. They should be pissed off because they lost to the mediocre Minnesota. But that's only going to help me in my game against the Falcons. Now, it's a good do. I concur. Pardon me?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, Daver.
The clock.
All
right, my man. All right. Good talking to you. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon. Right?
I have a feeling. And the man in black, drinking cold beers, ring of fire.
Dave Areno signing off.